Alright, so I'm going to do an experiment today. I'm going to cut the stock springs on my FRS. I have tein springs and tein, but I got these on there right now, and as you see, it did lower it the 1.5 inches that they say, and it definitely got it lower, but like stock, you can see it's got quite a bit of gap. That was my brother's, but anyway, so I'm wanting to get greedy and see if I could tuck that tire into the well a little bit, or at least match that tire to the well. So what I'm going to do is, here's my stock spring, and I'm going to cut possibly half to a full, and that should about do it, maybe a quarter more, and see what happens. Now, why would you do that after buying custom springs? I'm not too sure. I'm just really bored, and I'm going to experiment with it and try it. And if it fails and it doesn't work right, then that's fine, and I'll just throw the green ones back in there and it'll be alright. That's about all my tools for it. But not sure how much, cutscenes I'm going to do with doing this, but anyway, we'll try it out and see how it goes. Also should mention, if you were to cut springs, I'm sure there's other videos out there that'll tell you, is don't cut from the flat side. This part you can never get back. This is nice and flat. This is going to be your top, at least on this car. And the bottom, you can see it sits off, so it's got a certain pocket it sits into, but no matter how much you cut off this, it's always going to fit back in that little pocket. But when you're cutting it, obviously do both sides very even, otherwise you're fucked. And again, this is just an experiment, so we'll see what happens. When I put in the tein, it took me about an hour on my own to do it, so it wasn't too bad. So minus cutting, let's see how this works. So I got both sides up, because it will, the sway bar will fight you down there, this guy. If you don't have both sides up and disconnect both of these, it's just a nightmare. But anyway, so you can see the teins in there. And yeah, I'm going to attempt to cheat this time and just loosen the top hat middle, and then just drop it down real slow to pull the spring out. And I know that's not the proper way, but I'm going to try that and see if that will allow the spring to come out easily. If not, then I'll undo everything just like before, and it's no big deal. But yeah, Alright, see if I can explain this in one shot. So, when I first did the springs, it was pretty easy. I just was able to take I have an electric impact, but I was able to take it and just zip it off. Because normally you do a lot of the springs, if you do, and this is all exposed, and you would normally, I got no hands, you would normally get where the hell did it go? You'd get your wrench on top here, and you'd just say this is your wrench, and you would get down in there and turn them opposite directions and pull your top hat off after you compress the spring. Don't just do it, you'll break something. I haven't compressed it yet because I'm trying to get this to loosen up a little bit. But anyway, so obviously Scion or BRZ, whatever the hell you're working on, 86, they decided it would be cool to sink it inside so that you have to buy a special tool. Well, I don't have time for that bullshit. So, God, I need to quit moving the hand. Anyway, so what I did is I took a socket, and I needed it to be hollow because I need to be able to do the wrenching and get into the center. So that this Allen could fit in between the hole, I needed to trim off a little bit of the socket. So trimmed off a little bit and trimmed off some more to make it shorter. And so it's making custom tools, but you can kind of see it there. So then now it fits on there, but obviously there was no grip on the sides. And I thought of a spark plug socket, but that was too small. So got that on there, trimmed it up right, and that way this would fit in there nice and snug all the way in there. But again, you'd have no way to grip this. So took my angle grinder, or whatever you want to call it, and I shaved down the sides. I only did 2 sides, you know, maybe more than you could fit the whole deal on there. But anyway, so trim that down, and that way, and I magically did it like almost right on, so I just had to fine tune it. And I made an 11/16, so I can get my wrench on there. And so I'll put that on there to show an example. And if I can get this. And so the socket goes on there, and then obviously you turn them 2 different directions, and we can pull our top hat without buying some expensive, stupid dealer tool. Win. Okay, so I got the cutting down, took a matter of seconds, and that's how you drop one. I just took 1 full coil, took an exact, they're like a few millimeters off from one side to the other, but I'm sure it won't matter. And that's the cut springs with 1 coil off. So throw them back in and see what's up. Probably should add as a tip. So pretty much got it back in already. Only took a few minutes. But anyways, when you disconnect the lower part of your shock here, this will flop out flat. So you need to have a friend or be prepared to strap it up somehow. I had used, which is over here, I used some string or wire. Coat hanger works, string, anything that you can, you know, maybe go through this bolt. And then I went down through those where those 4 holes are, and I just kind of strapped it to the side while I was working. Because yeah, this whole unit will fall out, like on the, it's pretty crazy. Okay, I cut out a bunch of dead air, but pretty much it's not going to work. That's the end of the conclusion. Even though it's so minute, the bottom of the spring even has to be flat. It's next to flat anyway. When you have it in there after it's been cut, I tried over and over, finessing everything else, trying to settle the spring in there. And no matter what I do, once I start tightening the top or doing anything out of the ordinary, it just pops out of the groove that you probably can't see squat. But there's a groove here where the spring edge sits in. And yeah, so pretty much it's a fail. You can't do it because of the way the car is designed. I had a 88 Mustang and an 89, and I cut both of those springs and everything was perfect. But the way they designed these, it's not going to happen. So there it is. And for obvious reasons, with it popping out like that easy, if that was to pop out while you're driving, that would be all kinds of bad. Yeah, you'd ruin your fender, crash, kill yourself, whatever. But, yep, leave it up to the professionals to make the spring on this one. So, back in the tein it goes. You can kind of see it on this one. Kind of flat there. And as I said, the top definitely is flat, but the bottom is just got that right curvature to stay inside the pocket.